Okay, so today we have Ultravox in Vienna, and we have the video here today as well. So honestly, I thought I've done an Ultravox reaction, but I looked through the channel, and no, I have never done one. And I know people have suggested them a lot. Again, I've listened to a lot of Gary Newman, and that's kind of in the same vein as Ultravox is, and I think they were before Gary Newman as well. So anyway, let's get into this, talk about it after. 4 minutes, 57 seconds, talk about it after. Like I said, let's go. My goodness. Haunting.
We walked in the cold air, freezing breath on the window pane, lying and waiting. A man in the dark in a picture frame, so mystic and soulful. Reaching out in a piercing cry, it stays with you until the feeling is gone. Only you and I, it means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna. Music is weaving, haunting notes, pizzicato strings, the rhythm is calling.
So on edge.
Alone in the night as the daylight brings a cool empty silence. The warmth of your hand in a cold grey sky, it fades to the distance. The image is gone, only you and I, it means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna.
there it is, Vienna by Ultravox. And like I said, this was a long time coming, and I'm just surprised I never listened to them. And my dog's staring at me now. She's hearing me talk. All right, so it's just, and coming into a band like this, I know these guys were very important in their era, and I know they were influential for many people. And this was so different to people who heard them for the first time when this song was released in 1980. But again, I do believe they were out before 1980. And anyway, part of new wave synth pop, that whole scene, and just again how different these guys were. So I want to give them their due. I want to give them their respect, and and try to understand everything that's going on here. So I feel like I'm putting more pressure on myself than usual. Anyway, it's just, but this song is so dramatic, and it's so gorgeous, though. Grand piano on this track is just, it's so important. An important grand piano, my God. Extravagant grand piano, I gotta say, too. The lush string arrangements, I would say, too. I do believe I saw it was a viola, solo on here. But there might have been violins on it, too. Like I said, some kind of, a lot of strings, I thought. Anyway, you had the mini moog, I would say, too. The synths, obviously. The constant bass line, the constant drum machine. And from the beginning, too, it's very sparse. The instruments are very sparse. It's very, I guess that creates what kind of, the sparse atmosphere that it has to it, and the haunting atmosphere that it has to it. And then I like how you go into the middle of it, basically, and it gets more intense. And by the end of it, again, it gets more sparse, and then it's over. I mean, I don't know. I just like how they built it up, and then they brought it back down. And, you had the climax, and then you have the resolution, however it goes, when you're talking about a story. But anyway, it's just beautiful in that way. And I mean, what you come away with, especially, was with that chorus. And I do believe I read that Midge Ure, I believe is how you say his name, and I believe he was in another band or something that I've reacted to before. Was it the Human League? Was he in that? Am I dumb? Either way, I've read about him before. I don't know. Anyway, but I've heard his name. I think he's been on something I've reacted to before, but never Ultravox. But either way, the way he would sing, "This means nothing to me, oh Vienna." And again, that was the line he had apparently when he was going into the recording studio. That was all he really had. And it's like the opposites of each other. This means nothing to me. I don't like it because this seems like a lost love, a love that's gone sour anywhere, or maybe you want to say a love affair that maybe happened in Vienna. I don't know, but that's what comes to my mind anyway off the top before we get into the lyrics. But it seems like, he at first he says this means nothing to me. This is negative to me. Whatever. This is bad. But then again, he goes on and the way he says, "Oh Vienna," it almost feels like he's longing or something for that time just for a minute. So it's just like, go negative to positive quickly. And that's what came to my big fat head anyway for that. And again, I love the soaring vocals, and I love just how he almost sang like a cappella when it came in, because again, the music was very sparse at the beginning, especially. So, and in the way he would sing, very kind of fast paced, very methodically, very menacingly, a little bit too, because I talked about there was a haunting feel to this. And again, just from the video too, when you had the close up on, I believe it was like statues. There was a statue of like if I can even remember now, it was like a lion or whatever it was now. I can't remember, but it was an animal anyway. And it was just a close up on that. And yeah, so that kind of added to the haunting feeling that I got. But Midge's voice, just the people staring at the video, him staring into your soul at one point in the video. And again, all the people at the party or whatever that they're at, just staring. There's the tarantula on the person's face. It was just very odd in that way, very odd, and just very different from anything I've heard. The video matched the song perfectly, I thought, and it just added to the kind of the weird feeling that you get, a weird feeling in a good way. I like, this is, and again, I guess this might be considered weird, especially in 1980 when, people who were fans of, I guess, like 70s rock, and all of a sudden this comes out and you might hear this on the radio. I can imagine those, 70s rock guys or whatever were just like, what the hell is this? What drum machine? My goodness. Anyway. But yeah, Midge, I love, he had hair here as well, not to, disparage him in that way, but anyway, he looked good, and I can see why. Now, I don't know if Gary Newman was influenced by them or not. It sounded like he would be, but I don't know if I mentioned this already. I can't remember. But anyway, and how he said he didn't really hear of Ultravox, and then he did, while he was doing his thing in the 80s or late 70s, whatever, and he was like, oh, this band exists too, and they've been going a lot longer than me. My goodness, I didn't even know. So, Gary Newman kind of talking about Ultravox is what kind of got me here to finally react to them. So thank you to Gary anyway. And yeah, so just from the beginning, you just hear that I don't know, haunting again, whatever, but dark, synth or whatever, and it's just pulsating. Is that the word? Pulsating either way, and just gets you on your toes immediately. And that's what I've said during this song too. I think you know, kind of you're on edge the whole time, the whole way through. And anyway, just talking about, I guess, love and life, you want to say, and I guess maybe longing for that moment, but knowing it's gone now. And either way, it's romantic in that way too. And anyway, I just wanted to talk about the personnel too, because I always kind of do that. So either way, Warren Can is on drums, electronic percussion, and backing vocals. Chris Cross, who did pass away, I do believe, because I see a lot of people talking in the comments, you know, rest in peace to Chris. He was great on this. He was on bass and synthesizers. Billy Curry was on piano and synthesizers, viola and violin. So he was doing a lot here. Piano, the grand piano. I can't say it enough. And just showing in the video him playing the grand piano. I don't know. I just, when someone's on a grand piano and you're on a song like this, grand piano, viola, violins, the great synths, it's just a mixture of everything. You know, some instruments you might not think work well together. I don't know, but they do here. And, you know, you can tell they took their time here. Curated it very well, and anyway, it just sounded like magic to me anyway. And then you have, again, Midge Ure over top of everything with his, you know, his abrupt vocals in a way, and also he was on guitars, synths, and lead vocals, and there you go. But anyway, you know, Chris, Billy, Midge, and Warren, I mean, just coming together here to create, again, something that I don't think people really heard of too much of, again, back in 1980. And, you know, Chris Cross, again, just talking about, as I'm reading here, you know, playing some bass lines with a synthesizer really worked here. And, you know, it's just so different from what anyone else was really doing at the time. So, anyway, they were, you know, they were ahead of their time in a way, anyway, you know, in their field, I would say. So, anyway, I guess that's, you know, I hopefully explained that off the top. Even we're 12 minutes in here, my goodness. So let's go to these lyrics now. We walked in the cold air, freezing breath on a window pane. Detailed as hell already. You kind of get where we're going here, talking about some love issues, perhaps. Lying and waiting, a man in the dark in a picture frame. So mystic and soulful. Again, I love these word choices, mystic and soulful, dark in a picture frame. It's dark, it's cloudy, it's gray, and so was the video. A voice reaching out and a piercing cry, it stays with you until the feeling is gone. Only you and I. It means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna. Again, I just, the most basic way I could put it is, as somebody who doesn't know too much about it, is there anything, hold on, let me just say on songfacts.com. Talk amongst yourselves for a second here. It does say, Midge Ure, apparently he said he was annoyed with the song at the time. He said this is going to sound terrible, but then he said, but I quite like the song. I think it's funny. So there you go. There's something like that. I also want to just mention Warren Can, the drummer of the song. It says the band's drummer. The song came together very quickly. I had a drum machine and synth pad in mind that I wanted to do for this, and I played it for that. I said something like, what about this? And we began the Vienna rhythm. We started playing something to it, and then it came together pretty easily. I had an idea for the chorus. We laid it down, but we had no verse for it, and we got it together in a few hours. So it came together quickly, I guess, anyway. But just to talk about, again, these lyrics, I guess, I guess I didn't really talk about the lyrics, but yeah, a love that's lost now. There's no feelings there. But then he goes on, oh, Vienna, in a way of maybe, you know, with his soaring vocals, wishing for that town again. Or not town, whatever, but wishing for Vienna again anyway. The music is weaving, haunting notes, pizzicato, strings. My goodness gracious. But he's almost describing what we're hearing now. The music is weaving. Yes, it is. Haunting notes. Yes, there are. Good Lord. I talked about how haunting this was. The rhythm is calling. Yes, it is. Holy moly. I wasn't really paying attention, I guess, closely to this verse, but yeah, because I'm just astonished now. Again, he's breaking the fourth wall. Oh, goodness. Anyway, alone in the night as the daylight brings a cool, empty silence. Ooh, a cool, empty silence. Just perfect words for the song. The warmth of your hand in a cold, gray sky, it fades to the distance. Again, the warmth of your hand was once something I longed for, once something I liked, I was used to, but now it's gone to the distance, you know, and it's like a cold, gray sky. And then we go into that chorus. The image has gone. Only you and I. It means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna. Again, I guess we're just thinking back on... It's almost thinking back on this relationship in a way for a second and just realizing, you know, and just being like, okay, that was, you know, we had some fun times, but it's all gone now. I'm over it. Oh, Vienna. Yeah, anyway, it's just, you know, you go back and forth a little bit here, you know, between liking what was going on in the relationship and then being like, no, it's over, it's done. Then we have the instrumental break and then the chorus. This means nothing to me. This means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna. And there is an annotation here. I know I don't always talk about these, but this song just has me thinking. And I just want to read this. As the memory of the love fades, all that is left are the very impressionistic memories as stated in the song. Midge once said about this song in his autobiography, my goodness, he said, "I'd love to have it, but it's all gone forever. It wasn't real life." So there you go again. I guess that's the whole point. It wasn't real life. I guess this relationship wasn't real life. Again, maybe talking about a love affair, whatever. It was a very short thing. You have some good thoughts about it, but then you remember it's all gone. But then you think, oh, Vienna, there's that kind of sense of longing for it, but then that goes away and it passes. And then you think again, this means nothing to me. So anyway, hopefully that's clear as mud. Again, I just feel like the song is a bit complex. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything that happened here. But either way, again, the great synths, the bass, the fantastic grand piano here, the drums, the drum machine, however you want to put it, just ahead of their time. They sounded glorious together, sounded like they made magic, and every instrument, the violins, the violas, again, just worked so well together and just created such an extravagant, moving sound and haunting too. So either way, and a bit of a ballad, I guess you would say. So I guess that's all I got to say. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. Thanks for all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.